Hi, everyone. This is Anna, one of your consumer technology specialists at Mid-Continent Public Library. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the reading tracker called the Storygraph. And the Storygraph is available as an app on a mobile device or tablet, as well as through a web browser on a computer. So we are going to be looking at it on a computer today. So what we want to do is first just navigate to the website, which is thestorygraph.com. No spaces or anything. And when we get there, we can either sign up if we need to or sign in. We can also browse books without signing in. So we'll look real quick what that looks like. We can take a little bit of a look. These are popular books for the week, and we can get a little glimpse of what kind of information we'll be able to see on the website. So we're going to go back to the home page and sign in. So again, to use this website, you really would need to create an account so that you can keep track, because it is meant to be a reading tracker. You need the account to save all that information. So you would want to make sure you get that set up before you do too much looking around. So when we log in, we are taken to a home page, kind of a landing page, and tells us we're logged in. And then there is a premium plan available for this website. We are just looking at the free version today, but we do have a little banner across the top to let us know that we can sign up for the Plus plan. So I can just X out of that. And right away, we can see on our homepage that we have kind of a shelf of recommendations, and we can click Explore to see more of them. If we scroll down a little bit more, we have a to read pile. So these are going to be the books that we have saved already that we want to read. And so they go on our to read pile. And then you can search and filter that pile. So let's see. And then on the right side column, we have currently reading books. So right now, we're just reading one book, but if we had more that we were reading, they would show up in this box. And then the box below that is specifically for popular items this week, popular books. And then we can browse that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Explore under Recommendations, so we can see what information we get when we do a search. So the results page for the search or categories all look the same and display pretty much the same information. So if we want to look quickly at this first one, we get the book cover, title. If it's in a series, we get the series name and number in the series, author's name. And then we have these tags that have been added to the book by users in the past. So if we're interested in any of these appeal factors, we can do a few different things. If we own the book, we can click to mark it as owned. We can click buy and be taken to websites where we can purchase the title. We can also browse different editions if there are some. We can add tags ourselves. So whether it's a book you've read or not, you can add tags to it for your own reference. And then we have a little drop-down menu where we can mark that we want to read it. If we click on to read, it's going to put it on a to read shelf. We can also put it on a read shelf when we're finished or currently reading. We can also mark if we didn't finish a book, and we can remove the book from all of our shelves. And then it looks like we also have a little X icon for this book that if you just either have started or read this book and really didn't like it, or it doesn't look like the type of thing you want to read, you can put an X on it and say, don't show me this book again. and it gives you a little pop-up to make sure that's what you want to do. And then when you accept that, it does remove it from the recommendations list, and it will keep it off of those lists for the future. Another cool aspect of this website is that you can tell it what kind of appeal factors you're looking for. So maybe you want an adventurous book that's also fast-paced and fiction. And then you can type in extra genres if you like. You can tell it if you want it to be shorter, kind of average, or long. And you can also tell the search whether or not you want it to include books that you've marked that you own or books that are already in your to-read pile. So I've made a couple selections, and now I'm just going to press search. And my search results are going to be all with the appeal factors that I indicated in that recommendation search. So this is a good way to kind of discover different titles that maybe you didn't have before or didn't know about. And then you can also change recommendation preferences, and ways that you can do that is you can fill out this little reading preferences profile. So we've already indicated some, which already is going to affect what kind of results we get in our recommendations. We can change those at any time, and everyone grows and evolves, and maybe we decide we like different books than we used to. We can update that. So I do want to show the next tab next to the home tab is stats. And this is the really cool thing about this reading tracker. So you can get statistics based on a bunch of different things. You know, it's going to grow as you use the site, because the more books that you say you've read and the more things that you are filling out information, you really get to see some cool statistics about your specific reading preferences. So you can say that you want viewing stats for a certain year within the last couple of years, or you can say from all time. You could also there choose a month. And then if you have a Plus account, it looks like you can compare 2 different time periods. So if you wanted to see like last year versus this year, or last year and the year before, you would be able to do that. Then after you've made that selection, the first set of statistics that it's giving us are based on the moods and pace of the books. So with this drop down, we can see these are all the different contents that we can see statistics for. Right now, what we have are, of the 202 books read, those books had all these pages, and then there's a pie chart about the different moods of the books. So they're color coded, so you can either click or hover over the pie chart itself or over the selection in the list below. When you hover over the pie chart, it's kind of cool because it'll tell you how many of the total books are in that little section. And then you can compare it with the books that you have marked as to read but haven't read yet. So if you feel like you read a lot of different types of books, you may see that that is reflected in your statistics, or you may be a little bit surprised. And then we can go down, and pacing of books. Again, the left is books we've already read. The right are books we want to read. So looks like Matilda is fairly consistent with the pacing that she prefers. Page number, so you can kind of get an idea of how many pages of books you like. So again, it'll give you the total number, and it's going to be based on that number from the very top, the 202 books. We can see how much fiction versus nonfiction we read, how many of each individual genre that we read. And also we can see based on format how much we read. So if you do add that as part of your information you enter on the site, for a reading tracker, you could just say, I'm reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and not mention that it is a print book or an ebook or audiobook. But if you do include that in the information that you track on the site, then you get to see the statistics behind it, and you can tell what your preferred reading method is. Yeah, and then most read authors. So if you want to see the different authors that you read or want to read, you can see that. And then this next one is number of books and pages and how that has changed over the time that you've been reading. And also averages of your star ratings and publication year versus read date. So are you mostly reading books that were published when or around when they came out, or are you reading stuff from earlier? So it doesn't look like we can click and see what each title is, but it's still pretty interesting to look at. And the other thing about this is that if you have just started using an account on the Storygraph, you actually can, if you've used Goodreads, you can export your Goodreads information and then import it to this website. And that's how you can get your previous reading stats without having to put everything in individually. So that's another cool option about this page. And then you can also participate in reading challenges, and they can be number of books or number of pages. So you can do one or both or neither. There is also a community aspect of this website. So you can follow people and see what they're reading, see what their recommendations are. Looks like if you are following people, you can see specifically what they're reading. And then this middle main feed is going to be things that people in the community are reading. You can also search for a specific book. And then your profile, it looks very similar to the homepage, but it is going to have information specifically related to your reading and information that you've put in. So if there is a book we want to read, if we want to read There's a Dragon in Your Book, we can do a few things with it. I'm going to click on the title. This brings us to the book page. We can also click on the author to get to the author's page. And we do get some of those appeal factors, page number, and when it was published. And there's description. A plus account option is to see personalized similar books. And then you can see customer reviews, statistics. So when you do that, you can go ahead and put it on one of your shelves. And then when you mark it as currently reading, you can put your start dates on it, and then you can view those all together. So under your profile, you also have a place where you can see notifications that either the site or people you follow are putting out. And then you can also manage your account and settings as well as your preferences. There is a lot that you can do. It looks like when you do have books that you've marked as reading, you can even add more information, and they called it a journal entry. So you can have multiple journal entries for the same book if you want to keep that kind of track of, I read this many pages, or I'm this % in the book. You can do that. You can put a review at that point. You also have the option to delete if you don't want them anymore. This is just another option for a reading tracker. Goodreads we did look at before, and we do have a video if you're interested in that, and you can kind of see what the difference is between the two, and then check back again when we are going to look at the reading tracker Bookly. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you let us know. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook on our MCPL 360 page. We have new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the live event, you can always find all of our videos on our YouTube channel. You can find all of our videos there on our consumer technology playlist. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next time.